too much for the audience to have to think about. They have to know that the guy's name is Cliff, and that he's on the cliff, and that the cliff and the cliff is the same. It's too cerebral. We're trying to make a movie here, not a film.
And welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? A title fight is brewing. That's right, this season, Eddie Murphy versus Jim Carrey. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is a man who loves smashing pumpkins, Joe Vekeman.
Smash, crash, boom.
And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Appalachian Trail. The name tag... Lev, what are we doing? Joe, do you get the pun behind Appalachian Trail? When I say Appalachian Trail, what comes to mind?
Apples?
Yeah. No.
What do you want me to
It doesn't work
from this?
on an audio media. Appellation. Appellation. Do you even know that word, Joe?
I do. I did go to school. You fucking asshole.
It's a name of something. You call out something. And the joke here, I think, Lev wanted was the Appalachian Trail, the place where you can go get name tags. You can have your name engraved on things at the Appalachian Trail. People are just going to think I'm talking about mountains, Lev.
I mean, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yes, yes, exactly. All right.
This week it got a little too intellectual.
We
you brought a little too much.
Trying a bit too
brain
hard
power
here.
into it.
Jesus. All right. The Appalachian Trail, not the mountains, this name thing. That's our sponsor.
That's the name thing. That's our sponsor this week. The name thing.
Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
We watched 1999's Bowfinger, directed by Yoda himself.
What?
Frank Oz.
What?
Frank Oz directed this.
And he's the voice of Yoda or the puppeteer behind Yoda?
I believe he's the voice of Yoda.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
We'll have to call the nerds and they'll...
Call the nerds. They'll attack me if I'm wrong.
Nerds, email us. Email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com if you know who the voice of Yoda was, because I certainly do not. So he's got all that Yoda money, and he's now like, I'm going to direct this movie about...
Oh, that's my cue. When a desperate movie producer fails to get a major star for his bargain basement film, he decides to shoot the film secretly around him.
Yeah, that happened.
It's a great idea. This movie's fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, I remember when the movie came out, a lot of people didn't like it. Is that true, or am I misremembering the late 90s?
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you right now. I think people liked it. Maybe not as much as they should have. This is great. It's great. It's fun.
Oh, I thought you were looking something up. That's why I wasn't saying anything.
I looked up the budget and then the box office to see if it made sense, and I would say they liked it a little bit.
They liked it enough?
Enough. Definitely enough.
Okay. Well, I was expecting to not like it because it didn't seem anybody liked it, so I thought it would be a continuation of these bad Eddie Murphy 90s things, but I actually enjoyed it too.
Oh, great. Well, let me tell you something. This little blurb right next to the box office stuff.
Yeah?
The film is considered by many as one of Eddie Murphy's best and most underappreciated films. I agree.
Yeah, I think he's really on something in this movie. Like both roles he plays, I think he's doing an excellent job. This is kind of like an energy I like seeing from him.
Yeah, the guy that's scared of everybody that could be an alien.
Yeah, just like him just going like really out there, and he's like getting... Even when he's accusing Ted Kennedy of being part black, he's like, look at him, he's different. Like, he's really just selling that insanity to me. Like, I'm really buying it.
It's a good time.
And then he's got like this good physical body comedy when he's playing the other character, and he's like running across the street and he's doing the fake kung fu. I think Eddie like really was bringing it here. It didn't feel like he was phoning it in. And if he is, well, I wish we could all phone it in so well.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably see Eddie phoning it in eventually.
Well, some of these movies, it comes out afterwards when they don't do it. It's like, yeah, that was a piece of shit. I was just phoning it in.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing on that one. Cop 3? What were we doing? What were we all doing on that?
So maybe this one, as I remember, didn't do very well. Maybe he came out afterwards and was like, yeah, I don't know. Steve Martin and I were never on the same page, so like whatever.
No, this did fine. I will tell you that Roger Ebert.
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R. R-O-G-E-R.
Gave the film 3.5 out of 4 stars and wrote, Bowfinger is one of those comedies where everything works.
I don't know. That's it. That's his whole review. Just everything works. I'm out. I know I said everything works, but I didn't give it 4 stars, but everything works.
That's a good point. Everything works. Fuck
I love
this.
the movie. Everything about it's great. No notes. 3.5 stars. What? How do we do better than that?
I have the review here if you want.
You have another review?
I have the whole review.
Oh, okay.
Found it. Bowfinger is one of those comedies where everything works, where the premise is not just a hook, but the starting point for a story that keeps developing and revealing new surprises. Like a lot of Steve Martin's other writing, it is also gentle and good-natured. He isn't a savage ironist or a vulgarian, and when he makes us laugh, it's usually about things that are really funny. Shell-shocked in this year of gross and grosser comedies, we can turn to Bowfinger with merciful relief. On that note of grosser and grosser comedies, Heather Graham. She's a pretty big star in this movie. The same year. It was a big year for her. Do you remember the other movie she was in 1999? Huge movie.
Almost Famous?
No.
She's not in that, or that's not the movie.
Is she in that?
Damn it, she's not?
I don't think so.
There's some other blonde lady, I guess.
Yeah, Kate Hudson.
Yeah. I do. The PTA, is it the PTA thing?
That's a couple years earlier.
Oh, then I guess I don't.
Let me help you out. Yeah, baby. You make me so horny.
And she's in that?
Yeah, she's the spy that gets shagged.
That was the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, he goes back in time?
He goes back in time.
Okay, I kind of remember that.
The rockin' 70s, right? 60s? Is it the 60s? I don't fucking remember.
Makes sense. All right, so Ebert doesn't like that movie. He's a fan of this movie. I really like the premise of the movie. I don't know if it had all that many jokes, or as many jokes as I would have expected from a movie I was enjoying.
This is definitely the Eddie Murphy comedy that I've laughed at the most.
I think those other movies had jokes. I think they were bad jokes. This movie just kind of like sometimes just like hung out.
Jokes.
Like the opening credits is like this really turgid long thing as he's just making phone calls, as Steve Martin's just making phone calls. Mm-hmm. And I go, I hope this isn't the pacing of the movie. It just feels like we're not doing anything. We got the sad sack pseudo blues music going on. Like where are we going from here?
It feels like a Steve Martin movie.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie, but I don't know that he needed to be.
Yeah, but this is the point in his career where he is kind of worthless and doesn't. Yeah, he's just like, I'm on Ally McBeal.
Yeah.
Please love me again. Don't you remember me in Home for the Holidays?
Do you think he'd do a solid to Callista Flockhart at some point and get her like some bit part in a Marvel film? You know.
Well, now Harrison Ford can do that, right?
I mean, it seems like he's got more than a bit part.
Maybe not. I don't know. I know he's the villain, and I was going to go see it the other day, and I was like, pass. I have a free ticket, and I'm like, pass. I don't know. I love Harrison Ford, but I couldn't bring myself to see it. Just so you know, Eddie Murphy ad-libbed the line, "You're doing great. You're going to be a star," in the scene where Daisy is topless.
Yeah. The other Eddie Murphy character. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting twist on the Eddie Murphy multiple role thing, where he's sort of he's meant to play a character that looks like him.
Yes. Yeah. I like the sweater though.
Yeah.
The sweater and the glasses really. It's literally like a Superman Clark Kent thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like this feels like a completely different person. Eddie Murphy became interested in this movie when he heard he would be working with Steve Martin, of whom he is a huge fan. When Murphy said, I hope he was interested in the movie. He was going to be working with Steve Martin. What a weird thing.
Eddie Murphy not learning about working with his heroes. Uh-oh.
When Murphy sat down with Martin and director Frank Oz, the first thing he said was that Kit Ramsey should be a black action superstar. Oz then asked if that meant he was making the film, and Murphy said yes. Martin later joked that Eddie's audition was very good. Jesus Christ. These guys are like dickheads. Just like can't be serious for a second. The film was shot during Eddie Murphy's busy schedule, and the third film Murphy had worked on that was produced by Imagine Entertainment, which is Ron Howard's, right?
I think so.
His remake, The Nutty Professor, was first, then Life, which we watched last week.
Just watched, yep.
Yeah, which he then finished filming weeks prior to beginning to working on this film. Murphy did have a very tight window to work with on this film of a rumored 6 weeks only, since he was in development of Nutty Professor 2: The Clumps. 6 weeks? That feels like a long time for this movie.
For what he has to do, that's a pretty long time. I think that's easy to do. Steve
Martin's the one that's like, he's the director and he's directing traffic everywhere.
Yes.
Literally sometimes. That was good, right?
Yeah. He's a big fan of the movie Traffic. I gotcha.
The Eddie Murphy part was actually written for, take a guess of an actor that was...
Tim Allen.
I wish. The movie we've been all waiting for. Tim Allen and Steve Martin.
Yeah.
The Eddie Murphy part was actually written for Keanu Reeves.
I guess I get it, but that wouldn't have been as fun.
Well, he was also busy making The Matrix.
Yeah.
He was trying to restart his career, too.
So it was just going to be like a film star, and the action thing was the thing Eddie added?
Yeah, wouldn't you think that if they're getting Keanu Reeves, it would be for an action star?
Well, was he?
At that point, that's who Keanu Reeves is.
In the 90s?
He's Speed. He's in Point Break.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, are you also having Keanu play his doppelganger? his own doppelganger? Because that doesn't seem like something he'd be great at.
That he would, yeah. Huh.
But if, like, you're getting Eddie, now you're like, well, we know he can do this, multiple stuff. Like, let's just have fucking fun with it. Let's go.
Let's see. Steve Martin came up with the idea for the film 13 years before the film was released and had not written the screenplay for over 10 years.
That's how a lot of my stuff is. Like, I just like letting it percolate for a long time. And then suddenly I got enough notes about it and thoughts about it where I'm like, all right, I think we can just sort of like crap out a draft now.
The shot of Kit Ramsey in character as Keith Kincaid shouting, "Gotcha, suckers," in the Chubby Rain movie for me. I mean, this is funny to me. Like, Chubby Rain. And then you see the picture, the poster is like a little raindrop with like Eddie Murphy's face in it. It feels like a movie that one of his Clump characters would we go and see. Or like one of their insults. I don't know. Was identical to the shot of Romeo crying out Juliet in Romeo plus Juliet from 1996, the Baz Luhrmann film.
Frank Oz was like, haha, I'm going to stick it to them.
Yeah, I guess he did.
I don't know.
Right?
Like, what, like, really, what is that shot? It's a guy looking up towards the camera and his arms are out and he's saying something impassioned.
Gotcha, suckers!
I just imagine that could be any number. I bet there are plenty of shots like that.
What else I got for you?
Well, we've got, obviously, Good Wife alum
Christine
Baranski hanging out with us, being a woman thinks she's Grace Gummer's mother. Forget her name at the moment.
Grace Gummer's mother. How dare you?
All right. I'm sorry. Mamie Gummer's mother. I forget her name at the moment.
You really do?
From Heartbreak. What is that movie with Jack Nicholson?
Wow. Yeah, Heartbreak.
I forget her name. I shouldn't. I know. I forget her name.
What is that movie called? You're talking of Meryl Streep, but what are you doing? How can you forget Meryl Streep's name?
I don't know. I was like...
you live like 4 houses down from her. How could you forget her name?
Because she's mad at me because I don't mow my lawn enough, so we don't talk.
You dropped all those oranges on her backyard.
Quite frankly, one time I think that she put a flaming bag of dog doo-doo on my front doorstep, and I cannot prove it, sir, but my doorbell cam found a woman in like a big bandana over her face and dark sunglasses, and it just looked like something she would wear when trying to be secret.
Heartburn is the name of that movie.
Heartburn.
You know, the Mike Nichols movie we watched?
Wild at Heartburn.
Wild at Heartburn.
Yes. I thought it was interesting that the faux Scientologist characters in this movie were actually trying to give very useful advice.
Yes.
Right, they're used to being like crazy people, and they're just like, we're just going to take your money, Eddie. But here they were like, Eddie, do not expose yourself to women in a basketball court.
The Laker girls!
Yeah, do not make these really bad, dumb decisions.
Oh, Eddie. I thought that was funny.
I thought it was interesting that the star of their film within the film, the Chubby Rain, they were like, he's only got 6 scenes, and I go, 6, huh? Just 6 in your entire movie? That doesn't seem right.
I liked seeing Jamie Kennedy as the camera operator, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the camera operator and then the male actor guy, I kept confusing them all the time because they looked identical to me. And I was just like, everybody else, you got a Middle Eastern dude and you got Heather Graham, and who the fuck are you people? But that's Jamie Kennedy's thing, right? Being replaceable. He's just like replaceable looking.
It's so rude. Maybe not. I don't know.
You're right. I got to be nicer to Jim Carrey's son.
Oh, of The Mask. Are you going to watch that?
No.
All right, good.
He's not in it, right? I don't have to watch it?
No.
Okay.
And we've already done The Mask, so it's
That's fine. I just was like, that's not on the horizon, is it? I was pretty certain it wasn't. I think I'm good.
Let's see. The film's costs amounted to $44 million.
Reasonable for an Eddie film.
Yeah, but the budget I'm seeing on here is $55 million, so I think they might have gone over. The executives at Universal wanted to cut the freeway chase scene, the freeway scene, because they felt it would be too expensive. Martin replied he would not cut the funniest scene in the film. What do you think? Is that the funniest scene?
I don't think so, but I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
A good trailer moment.
Definitely. It feels like the big trailer moment.
Yeah. I was thinking, though, I'm like, man, in the 90s, how do you shoot something like this?
The character of Daisy was inspired by actress Anne Heche, whom Martin was dating at the time.
Oh, awkward.
Anne Heche?
Did Anne Heche like being portrayed in this way? Is that why that little lesbian gag comes in at the end?
Jesus, that's weird. I didn't know. I thought this role was like perfect for Heather Graham. I thought she nailed it. I mean, what she's mostly known for is like being the like blonde ditzy girl. But
I guess, but she also was like a very crafty one. Like she sort of caught on to the game of it very quickly. And I guess I guess it does make sense, right? She really is just connecting to, it's almost like, maybe it's not even crafty. She just is like following her impulse, kind of like a dog does.
That's so fucking rude. He called her a dog.
How nice of this man to help get me this role. Oh, but you can't get me more scenes? Oh, the writer can? Oh, okay, great. And like just not even realize the kind of the heartbreak she's leaving in her. But I guess they address that when Steve Martin's like, you slept with blah, blah, blah. And she's like, so? And he goes, oh, okay, good point. Like she doesn't even realize it's a problem. She's just like, well, I'm just trying, this is what you do.
But like the heartbreak of every guy, the next scene after they see who she's going after, it's just like.
She's not even aware. It's like,
very good. It's very good. I liked it a lot. The film did not do farewell overseas as it did in the United States, as most comedies don't. But on a $55 million budget, it made $98.6 million.
That's close.
Not bad.
Probably for back then, you're turning a bit of a profit. Your advertising costs weren't super crazy yet, so I bet you cooled 15-ish million.
Yeah, and Eddie's definitely getting his quote. The budget was like what I said, 45, but then tack on that 10 million, probably to shut down the highway for 2 days. The freeway feels like a big ask.
Yeah, but I wonder if there's like there's so many highways stretches of highway that look like that over here.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there's some less used part of it you could do. It still would cost a lot of money, but what I'm really thinking of, like, how do you have so many cars ready to go? Like, that does seem kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like this one a lot. This is very highly ranked in my Eddie Murphy.
I like seeing the Mexican crew reading Cahiers de Cinema in the middle of their learning how to be on a film crew. They have a pretty good arc there.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. And it sounds like you did too.
I did. We had a little cameo from a young Harold from Harold and Kumar.
Yes, he is. I think he's a dancer.
No, he's like they go into the studio and they're like, yeah, we have a permit to be here, guys, because they're trying to shoot Eddie like across the street or something through the window. Mm-hmm. And John Cho's just like sweeping a little bit. He's like, you can't be here today. And they're like, we got a permit.
Oh, nightclub cleaner. That's, yeah. I saw nightclub and I was like, oh, is that dancer?
I think we got a little cameo from Pizza Hut.
What?
We got a little Pizza Hut cameo, I think, at the movie premiere. Eddie and when we see a shot of Eddie and his brother, quote unquote, at the premiere, I think his brother has like a box of Pizza Hut on his lap.
So there's Kit Ramsey, and then it's Jefferson, Jiff Ramsey. Jefferson, not Jefferson. Jefferson.
Yeah.
There's an urn in there.
I'm glad. Sounds like it went better for Eddie this time around, working with somebody he liked than with the. I guess because I don't know. Eddie's not like in charge, right? He's just there to have fun too, so he's not.
Yeah.
All right.
How are you feeling about Steve Martin? I've never really watched many of his movies. I've seen a few.
I've watched a few. I don't dislike him, but I don't like him. I would say like he's just there.
Yeah.
I don't go out of my way to see a Steve Martin film, but I don't turn it off.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the big ones, like The Jerk and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and The Father of the Bride. But other than that, it's been pretty empty on the Steve Martin watches.
Yeah, and he's not like the end of the 90s is not his big time, right?
Yeah,
like
I know. We kind of like missed him, and then he became a family person again.
So I'm like, oh, it's interesting. He's on the downswing in his real life career, and now is playing this guy looking to attach to a bigger star to help propel him back.
Wow, the Pink Panther. He made the Pink Panther in 2006. Can I tell you the top 4 people in the Pink Panther from 2006?
Okay.
I bet you can never name, besides Steve Martin, the other 3 people that are starring with Steve Martin in the Pink Panther from 2006. Okay, we got French
Stewart.
Fucking hell. I mean, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. No, French actor Jean Reno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why you only finish.
Somehow
Jesus.
more bizarre.
Kevin Kline. And the 4th one is just like, okay. And just, huge pop star Beyonce.
Well, that when I think of Pink Panther and Steve Martin, I think of Beyonce. Well, as we have our Oscars coming up, listeners, next week, and we're going to do things a little bit differently. Normally, the Oscars happen, we record our show regularly that week, but discuss them, and then a week later, basically 11 or 8 days after the Oscars have happened, you get our reactions to it. Well, we thought that's not quite as fun or topical for you to listen to, so we're actually going to record and release our episode the day after the Oscars, and it's just going to be about the Oscars, so we can turn around the edit very quickly. But since our next episode is going to be our Oscar episode, we'd like to take our time to shout down the Academy, where we will do our top 10 list of the year to mimic their top 10 Best Picture nominations and point out how they got all of them wrong. We did this last year, proved to be popular, so we're doing it again.
Okay. Well, I really love this movie, and I'll put this at number 10.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve in Miller's Point.
That's the name of the film?
That's the name of the film.
I've not heard of this film at all.
I sent it to you. I wanted you to watch it.
Oh, dang. Well, I'm a bad friend.
It's okay.
This was legitimately a Christmas time film.
Yes, like it came out in December.
I see how it got lost in the shuffle then.
But it's really not plot based. It's just kind of following a family, interstitially, like throughout like the evening.
Oh, like that Tom Hanks movie, but instead of an evening, it's 70 years.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
That is not on my top 10. Did you see that?
No.
You spared yourself.
I did. Yep.
It's on Netflix, though, if you want to watch it anytime.
Not really.
Yeah. I don't think it ever made it to the top 10.
No.
On Netflix.
Probably not.
Which is very, very damning because everything makes it to the top 10.
Netflix just makes it up as they go and blah, blah, blah.
It feels like it sometimes.
Yeah.
But maybe they weren't feeling the Zemeckis love because Zemeckis has been doing a lot of like movies for other services like Max and Disney.
Maybe they didn't even realize they had it. Like it accidentally ended up on their platform.
Yeah. So this movie, I'll get a quick synopsis. A family gathers on Christmas Eve for what could be the last holiday in their ancestral home. As the night wears on and tensions arise, one of the teenagers sneaks out with her friends to claim the wintry suburb for her own. Sure, yeah. It's just, this movie is literally all vibes.
Okay, that could be
just
cool.
Just vibes. There's a nice little, like, section where you see Michael Cera and Greg Turkington play 2 cops that there's something going on with them. You don't really know.
Oh, they're gay.
They could be. They might not be. They could just be
they
like...
gaying on each other?
I'll let you interpret that when you watch
Okay.
it. Save it for this Christmas. It'll definitely enter my rotation for every year now. I was very much looking forward to it. I think it premiered at one of the festivals earlier in the year, and then it got a nice little December release, and I watched it, and I enjoyed it. All right, what's your 10?
Well, first I want to add, I have an honorable mention on my list. I have 11 films because one of them was actually just a short film, so it didn't feel like fair to kind of try to shuffle it in there, so I just put it at the end. Chime by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Mm-hmm. It's very long for a short film. I usually don't like it, a short film that gets beyond like 20 minutes, but this one kind of had me in the whole time, and at the same time it felt like, I wouldn't want this to be longer either, though. You kind of it's a rare movie that 40 minutes is perfectly fine for it, and I thought it was an excellent, good, strong thriller, better than the one of his 2 features that he came out with last year as well, which was a remake of his earlier feature. I thought was odd. But there's another movie, Cloud, he also did last year. That one is going to come out in the summer. So there you go. But for my actual number 10, sneaking in at the very last minute, that I didn't even think I would like, Maria with Angelina Jolie.
That is bizarre. I cannot believe you. Really?
Really?
Maria.
Maria.
A movie that no one's talking about.
But that's going to be a lot of films on my list, so just buckle up.
I feel like that movie came out on Netflix and people were like, huh.
That's the problem. It came out on Netflix. Of course no one's talking about it. It came out on Netflix and doesn't have aliens in it. No one's talking about it.
I mean, J-Lo movies come out on Netflix with aliens and no one still talks about them.
Quite elegant, the film. There was like some of these Academy films were like lingering around at the bottom. It was The Brutalist and what's the other one? Substance and Conclave. And I was not really happy with any of them on the list, but I'm like, well, I guess. And then Maria came and I was like, all right, problem solved. Maria, we did it.
Wait, over The Substance?
Over The Substance, yes.
You've got to be shitting me.
Substance will not be on my list.
What the fuck? Well, you don't have to worry about that with me.
Yes. All right, what's your number 9, Joe?
Number 9, I'm going to say Thelma.
Oh, this old lady thing?
A nice, quiet little movie that stars June Squibb in her first starring role at the prime age of like 93 years old. She's incredible in it, as she always is. But someone who I also took notice to was her grandson in it, Fred Hetchinger. Hopefully I said that right. He was in a bunch of things this past year. He was in Nickel Boys. He was in Gladiator 2. And he was in this. And I liked him in this the most. It's just... Did you ever see it? Did you ever get to see something?
No, well, I only heard about it at the end of the year because a lot of people kept trying to get me to see it. But that was a month I wasn't going to see much. So
that's okay. Maybe you can... Eventually. It's just very...
That seems like an easy one to find on a streaming service and just throw
It's on Hulu right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice and short, 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's a delightful little film. Nice little treasure.
My number 9, you're going to be happy it's on my list, Joe. Anora.
Yeah, what a great movie.
Sean Baker fan. Not one of my favorites of his, but, Sean Baker can only do a movie so poorly, so still makes my...
Wow, what a compliment.
Still makes my top 10. Number 9. All right, Joe, what do you got for number 8?
Number 8. I'll put Sing Sing at number 8.
You don't have your list finalized? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, but I'm going through it.
Sing Sing number 8. No complaints there. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
A movie nobody's seen, but still quite good.
I rented it, and then after I rented it, I immediately went to the A24 store and I bought the Blu-ray.
Got to support him. Go support them.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Coleman Domingo. If anyone's going to upset Adrian Brody this year, let it be him.
No shade on my end, Joe. My number 8, nobody's seen either. It's called Agrodrift, the infrared, experimental, vibe-based action film from Harmony Korine.
You psycho.
Quite excellent, that film. One of my hills I'll die on. Also hard to find anywhere, but when that steelbook comes out, I'm ready for it.
You can rent it on the website.
I know. I want to own a steel book. I want
You want the steel book
Joe,
of Aggro Drift.
I don't recommend you renting it until it's like one of those $3.99 rentals, because you're not going to like it very much.
Yeah, I think it's like $20 or something.
Yeah, that's too much. All right, what do you got for number 7?
Number 7. I'm gonna put at number 7 Hitman, the Richard Linklater movie, starring our boy Glenn Powell.
Oh, jeez.
We love him. We love that handsome devil. That movie's just fun. Did you ever get to watch it?
No, I don't even remember this film.
It's on Netflix.
I've heard of it.
It came out during the summer.
Okay.
Like right at the beginning of the summer.
It's Netflix, Joe. Of course I don't remember it.
Yeah, but it's a special movie.
I forgot Maria came out until the Academy Award nominations happened.
Damn.
I thought it was the other movie.
Did she get nominated? Did she really get nominated?
She did not get nominated.
Good.
Only cinematography got nominated.
Nicole Kidman didn't get nominated.
Nicole Kidman did not get nominated.
If anything, even not for that performance, which I thought was very, very good, that woman fucking works, and she should be just awarded for working as much as she does. Not only did she put out 2 television shows last year, which she was the prominent star in, I think she also had 3 or maybe 4 movies, 2 of on Netflix.
I would.
The other shows.
I'll talk about this next week, obviously, but I would drastically overhaul this Best Actress list that the Academy put out. I think there were plenty of room to put in very talented women and to take out kind of like meh women performers.
You wouldn't take out Mikey Madison, would you?
No, I would not take her out.
Okay, good.
All right, Joe. Oh, that's your...
That's you. Now you're number 7.
My number 7, a movie I saw in the first half of the year, but just kind of like stuck in there. It didn't seem to make a splash, or nobody else was really talking about it, but I just always like hanging around in the back of my mind. Red Rooms.
Ah, yes, that is...
This French movie that
good.
I think approximates what other people get out of a David Fincher film. I think I got out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that to be quite a fun experience.
I did enjoy that one.
All right, what rounds out your bottom 5 at number 6, Joe?
Going back to my guy Clint, Juror number 2. I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
That was a ride.
Yeah, fun little movie. No complaints about
You saw
that
it?
one.
I did see it. I liked the review.
Yeah.
Very, very good movie. Fun little thriller. It's nice to know that Clint, still got it at 94.
Yeah.
It felt like this movie did take him a lot longer to make.
It seems like there was a distribution issue, maybe, or something. Like there was some kind of studio.
Yeah, it was called
pushback.
Warner Brothers.
So, like, if things had kind of been normal on the back end, production and editing wise, I bet this thing turned around kind of quick.
And I bet it would have made a profit if he just was allowed to put it in actual movie theaters, because I think it got like 32 screens across the country, and then that's it.
And then they just dumped it on Max, and they were like, "Why this movie didn't do very well?" And we're like, why could that be?
Awful.
Well, my number 6, a movie I thought I would kind of like, but ended up liking a lot more, the animated film Flow.
Oh,
Quite
wow.
charming.
I still have to watch that.
Yes, very enjoyable.
I'll get around to that soon.
All right, Joe, we got our top 5. What's your top 5?
The Brutalist.
A fine choice.
Hell yeah. That movie was just an experience that I'm so happy I got to sit down in a theater for like 3.5 hours. With a nice 15-minute intermission.
A little 15-minute break. You get some grumpy jazz score.
Grumpy jazz. That score is awesome, and I really hope it wins this year.
I hope so, too, because it's the only score I think should win. But we'll save that for next week, too. My number 5.
Number 5.
Another one of these snubbed actresses. The Last Showgirl.
Oh, yeah.
Quite delightful Sean Baker-esque film.
Mm-hmm.
With a really great performance from Pamela Anderson. Completely overlooked by the Oscars. All right, Joe, what do you got for number 4?
This one is just kind of obvious. A Real Pain. Directed by Jesse Eisenberg. Written by Jesse Eisenberg. Starring Jesse Eisenberg. Love him. Just, I don't know. This movie I saw at like the perfect time last November when like I was able to sneak out. My mom was watching my son, and I was just like, I'm going to go see this movie that I've been wanting to see because I heard about it at the festivals. And then it was just everything that I wanted, just right in that right moment, and it hit like fucking like so good. Melancholy tinge to it the whole time. You're like, oh, this is these two guys. They don't really like each other, but very special for me. Number 4 for you?
My number 4 is sort of the poster child for why I try to avoid trailers at all costs. Mm-hmm. A movie I feel like I would have enjoyed. I probably still would have made my top 10, but I might have enjoyed the experience a lot less had I known what I was getting when I was going in. Number 4, Nickel Boys.
Oh.
Thought I was getting a buddy cop film. Instead, I'm getting like this avant-garde editing masterclass, associative, very impressive film. Quite a fun experience. This first-person movie, all of it was a big surprise for me. And like it didn't bother me. I was along for the ride, and I was just.
Oh, you had no idea.
Had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Legitimately, not a single idea.
Yeah, I that's like all I heard about, but going into the movie, so I was like, oh, okay.
It was totally on the outside, and I was glad to be out the bubble because I think it made it a way more enjoyable experience and really helped the movie sing for me. All right, Joe, the top 3. What's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is The Beast. Did you hear of The Beast? I told you about this. I
forgot to try to see The Beast as I was rounding out my 2024 film.
Bertrand Bonello directing Léa Seydoux and George Mackay. It's... I mean, I can't wait to revisit this. I saw this... For me, it feels like a lifetime ago, but I've been thinking about it a lot since. Because I saw it back at the end of June. So, feels like so much has happened in between there. But I'll give you a quick synopsis just so I can tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
In the near future, where emotions have become a threat, Gabrielle finally decides to purify her DNA in a machine that will immerse her in her past lives and rid her of any strong feelings. She then meets Lewis and feels a powerful connection, as if she had known him forever. I think it's your Cloud Atlas. It's like a Cloud Atlas to make you happy.
Does Cloud Atlas make anybody happy?
I like Cloud Atlas. I have a soft spot for that one.
You just have a soft spot for the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
You like Speed Racer too.
I like Speed Racer. I like all the Matrixes.
The Matrices.
So yes, definitely check out The Beast. I bought it on Blu-ray because it came out really.
Yeah, there was that one, and I think you logged one. Maria Jean Baptiste, was that you?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to see that one too.
Hard Truths.
So so the Hard Truths, The Beast. I'll watch them at some point, and maybe I'll adjust my list after the fact once I see them. But missed those ones. Totally spaced out on those ones. All right, my number 3, another film nobody's seen. Do not expect too much from The End of the World. Romanian sort of experimental. It's like a 2-part-ish, or it's like 2 different film movements inside of the film. There's like the people working on making a commercial, and then the last 40 minutes is the shooting of that commercial. And it's this great sort of call out of capitalist exploitation, but in a very underhanded, very sly kind of way. It doesn't. American would make this movie and they'd be like, see, it's bad. But this one's just like, well, here it is. We're not even going to tell you we're looking at this through a capitalist lens, but it's there. A good film about showing restraint on the creative level.
Yeah, I need to check that one out. Been on my, I've been seeing it around a lot. It's very long though, so I couldn't make time for it.
It is, yes, it is quite long. I was fortunate I was able to see it when I was, because it played very, very briefly over here, but quite a trip, yes. All right, number 2 for you, Joe.
I'm going to bring back one from your list, and it is Anora.
Of course. Not surprised.
Yeah, Sean Baker, just a filmmaker that I got to know a lot better this past year because I watched Starlet and Prince of Broadway. Prince of Broadway really hit me hard. It's a guy who just kind of inherits a kid on the street, basically. And you feel like, this is your son. And it's just the trials of trying to take care of a kid in New York when you are basically just trying to take care of yourself when you don't even have the means to do that. Yeah. Incredible movie. Also, Anora, I anything Sean Baker makes, it's like goes to the top of the list.
Very talented filmmaker. My number 2, also from a very talented filmmaker who doesn't get to make all that much. Bird.
Oh, Andrea Arnold.
That's right. Bird, an excellent film that kind of came and went, that the Academy, for whatever reason, chose to disqualify from any Oscar racing. I don't know why.
Stupid.
Apparently, of all the films that came out this year, like a third of them got disqualified, even though they did the playing in New York and LA for the number of times. So I don't know why it got disqualified. The Academy never kind of came out and said, but an excellent film, great script, great acting. All right, for number 1, Joe, I'm going to try to
Yes.
guess yours and then you guess mine. Now that we have kind of narrowed down our lists and we know what films we like through the year, I think we can guess each other's number one.
Yeah, I know yours, but
Yeah.
mine's kind of a cheat, so you're only going to get like half of it.
Oh, I guess I assumed yours was The Substance.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that
That got left off the list.
got left off.
Okay, well then, what's your cheat? How are you cheating?
My cheat is Luca Guadagnino, Challengers and Queer.
Just
he
him
had
in
the best
general?
year.
Okay.
Yeah. Those 2 movies last year I loved.
You like them both.
Equal amounts. 2 very, very, very different movies written by the same person.
So just Luca Guadagnino, your favorite film of the year. Anything he made in 2024, you're down for?
Yeah, I watched all of his movies last year.
Yeah.
Even the one that people have never heard of and didn't even know existed. Melissa P.
Melissa P?
Watch that movie and tell me what you think about Luca Guadagnino
Yeah, I
after
certainly
that.
have not heard of that one.
That movie is so fucking weird, and I don't need to ever watch it again. It's fine.
Well, then I'm sure you know mine. What is it? What's my number one film of 2024?
I saw the TV Glow.
Damn straight. It sort of came out early, became my favorite film right then, and held on the entire way through.
It's so great.
Bird maybe got a little close. I was sort of mulling it over in my head for a bit. That was the closest I ever got to not letting I Saw a TV Glow be number one, but ultimately it triumphed out. Easy pick for me. Strong filmmaker. Great script. Great use of color.
Great use of Fred Durst.
Great use of Fred Durst. All 3 minutes of him. But you know what? He's not in it for the fame. He just does it all for the nookie. It's not so bad.
That's right. Words right out of his mouth.
Those are our 10 films. I am now taking mine off of private as of this recording. It will certainly be public when you guys see it. For all of you to watch on my letterboxd at Patrick Skeyhill, Skeyhill, Patrick's Picks for Best Picture nominations, 2024 Oscars edition. Joe's, I'm sure, will be out there soon, too, once he actually makes his list.
Yeah, I'll put it together. I'll put my yeah.
You know, he's got 5 days to do that. I'm sure he can figure it out. I've only warned him like 3 times this week to do it. But
Stop.
all right, you got last looks on Bowfinger.
Last looks on Bowfinger. Jeez, Eddie, way to peak a little too early for us. I do not like where this is going. Although I think the clumps will be just a little balm before the horrendous storm we are going to enter. So, you got last looks?
Why does Eddie Murphy do this movie? Well, one, it's a sort of a fun role for him to play. It's interesting if it was written for Keanu that they went to Eddie. I don't know if they
So
were
weird that it was written for Keanu. That's
if
so
they
weird.
were shopping it around, or if Keanu was not willing to do it, so then they had to go find someone else to do it. I like Eddie sort of liking it right away. Eddie really made it his own. I thought this is some of his finest comedic acting the whole time we've been going through it. I thought he was at his funniest in this film.
Definitely.
He just found, like, a lot of the little things I've liked from his other movies all got kind of combined here. It's a strong Eddie film. Wish there were some jokes for everybody else to go along with it. Like, even, like, a lot of Eddie's jokes actually feel like just kind of mannerisms or things that a lesser actor wouldn't have been able to make funny. So I find a lot of impressiveness on that part from Eddie Murphy. And another reason why he does it, well, he wanted to hang out with his pal Steve Martin. They were friends, right? Former SNL guys. Not at the same time, obviously, but crossing paths a little bit, getting to work together. And a movie couldn't have paid him all that much if the budget's only 54. So he must have like really found the script to be funny and amusing, and he could fit it in between something else. So otherwise that time was going to be lost to him anyway. So he makes a couple, $10-ish million just in a 6-week span, and he's off to make another film that I'm not looking forward to watch. But
Just another $10 million. Just throw it in the
just
pile.
like whatever. It's fine.
Throw it over there with my Shrek money that'll be coming in very soon.
So an excellent choice on his part. A nice way to cap off the 90s run from him, because a lot of it has been not great and not funny at all.
To say the least.
So if your last film is going to be one of your funniest, that's a great way to go into the new millennium. All right, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Appalachian Trail, not the mountains, just the other one. Look it up in a dictionary if you don't know. It's Latin, everybody. And I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping the sound so slippery smooth. And I'd like to thank my co-host, Joe Vekeman, for stopping by.
Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night. just realized something that I will talk about as soon as we start recording.
Okay.
I just realized that. That's crazy.
So I got a message by Grant of Sock fame the other night.
Talk so.
Now currently Clodcast.
Podcast.
He said, double bill idea, perfect blue velvet.
That is a rough day. Yeah. That's asking a lot.
So then I immediately counter with Eraserhead of State.
The Chris Rock movie?
Yes.
All right. Well,
But then immediately I get in my mind, Mulholland Drive My Car.
Another really tough day.
And then
It's a
Dimitri
long day.
counters with The Shape of Waterworld.
I might bail at the second half. I'm not a Waterworld fan.
But, you
I
know,
love Shape of Water, though.
Dimitri, that's not what we're doing, obviously, you fool. Mm-hmm. And then I again go, The Never-Ending Straight Story. And then also follow it up with Elephant Man Under Fire.
You know,
Yeah.
these are all really tough bills.
Then Dimitri, bless his heart, still not understanding what's going on, goes Lady Birdman.
Lady Bird, you know, at least those movies made some money.
Yes. Then I, again, trying to make my point, go Dante's Twin Peaks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Then Dimitri, still kind of going over his head, says Perfect Blue Valentine also works. Now I really want to make sure he knows. I say Inland Empire State, and I know that's sort of vague, so I have to add starring Laura Dern and The Rock. Because no one remembers the movie Empire State.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, hold on. What was Empire State?
I guess you could also do like Inland Empire Records. Throw a little comedy in there.
Yeah.
But again, this was late at night, so Rock's the first thing that came to my mind, of course, because the podcast has poisoned my brain.
Of course.
Yeah. Dimitri again, not following. Read one day, Dimitri. We have a theme going on here. So then to hammer it home, I go Raiders of the Lost Highway.
Hell yeah. Now that's a double bill.
And then silly me, I think I'm all done. So I kind of drop my mic. And then he goes, Something Wild at Heart. And I went, oh, forgot about that one. So then I threw in real quick, Wild at Heart Eyes.
Oh, nice. I'll just do the one that has been mentioned.
Yeah.
Dune. And Dune Part 2.
How could we forget Dune?
So we watch David Lynch's Dune, and then we watch this Part 2, which kind of like, you know, expands from the end of the, you know.
Dune. That was a good one, but also it makes sense I'd forget it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Is that all of them?
That is, he doesn't have a lot.
No. Wild at Heart Eyes. That's a fucked up feature.
It seems people are liking The Wild at Heart. Is it worth seeing? Should I go see this thing?
You mean Hard Eyes?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Hard Eyes is fun.
Okay.
I had a good time. I wouldn't say it's like groundbreaking, but I had a good time.
It's just fun. But is it like new horror fun? Because, I don't know. What kind of
It's
fun?
a little new horror-y.
Yeah.
But I still had a good time. I laughed.
Like people find Smile fun, and I think Smile was bad. You laughed?
Because it's a little goofy.
No, I don't want to see that then. I just want my horror to be horror.
Oh, well, this mixes a bunch of things. I mean...
Oh, like every movie does now? Thanks, Marvel.
Yeah, but this, like, balanced it much better. I liked it. Hard Eyes is good. It's my top movie of the year so far.
Oh, yeah?
Out of, what are the few movies that I've seen this year that are 2025 releases?
Well, Love Me would like to call you and have a few words.
Yeah, I gave that,
Hard
2.5
Eyes,
stars?
huh? That Heart movie you're fine with, but not mine. All right, you execute you, Joe. That's fine.
All right. You're never going to let that one go. I saw One of Them Days. That was 3 stars. Companion, 3 stars. And Hard Eyes, 3.5. Nothing that's wowed me this year, but...
Well, you know, it's not that part of the year, you know?
I know 3 stars is like a lot for you, so I'm like, man, they're mid.
3 stars is like you made it over the... I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah, they're not bad movies. They're very watchable.
Yeah. Like I like them. They're good. I would call them good movies. But they're not movies like I would want to revisit anytime soon. They're not movies I would highly recommend. But if somebody's like, hey, do you like that movie? I go, yeah.
You know, I'm curious, because I know you've seen this movie at least twice. And I think it's bad, because I haven't watched it all the way through once.
What?
So let me
movie?
find out what you rated it, so I'm gonna look it up.
Uh-oh.
I know you've seen it because it was in one of your like I'm sick watches.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you gave it 2 stars, okay, but I know you've rewatched it. The replacements.
Oh, replacements? Yeah, I kind of liked it. It was fine.
Excuse you on the Moneyball. Ew.
Yeah, delightfully generic.
Delightfully fantastic. I love Moneyball.
Yeah, that was I got COVID in 2022, and I got a list of all the movies I watched while I had COVID, and they were mostly sports movies.
Let me tell you something. I took it upon myself to say, hey, that's a damn good poster. And so I watched Night of the Juggler. Let me tell you something. That movie rips. That movie's so good.
What the hell is Night of the Juggler?
Well, I'll tell you. It's James Brolin, Cliff Gorman, who I've only really seen in... Oh, you know what? He has been featured on What the Hell Happened to Them. He was in the movie Hoffa.
Great. Easy to keep track of.
Let me tell you, he is... Did we forget that Tim Burton plays a corpse in that movie?
Yep. I don't remember that at all.
And Jon Favreau is an extra. That's what he plays, an extra. Anyways, this guy... I really took notice from him in All That Jazz. He plays the comedian that Roy Scheider is doing his movie on, which is basically Lenny, which is the other movie he made.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's the I guess the night juggler, but there's no juggling. It's just a metaphor for him trying to keep a bunch of things in the air.
When did this movie come out?
1980.
And Josh Brolin's in it? What's he, like 8?
James Brolin, his father.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Also, James Brolin. I love Josh Brolin. I've enjoyed him in many movies. James Brolin in this movie is a different hemisphere of a man. He is incredible. He's just. I wanted to put in the review that he is probably the rendering of the brawny paper towel man.
Okay.
He's got the flowy hair, from the 70s. Okay. Flowy, not too long, but just a little longer than mine. Got a nice beard that's very kept, and the flannel shirt that's always ripped open to show his a little bit of hairy chest.
Yeah, he's got it in his contract.
He looks great. He looks fantastic, and he's just running around the city of New York chasing down this guy to get his kid back. Fantastic, great use of I don't know how they fucking did all the location shooting in New York. I know it was easier back then, but still, everything they're doing is insane. I loved it.
Yeah, everybody's all blasé about movie making now in New York and LA. It's hard to get things done.
But this guy's the director of Robert Butler is his claim to fame is making a couple 3 Kurt Russell Disney movies from the 70s. He made in the 60s, I guess. The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. He made The Barefoot Executive. That's Kurt Russell and a monkey. And Now You See Him, Now You Don't. Oh.
Where he's part of a magician ring of thieves.
Is that why they didn't call it that? Because there was a Kurt Russell movie from the 70s that was made by Disney?
No, they didn't call it that because they wanted to save it for the sequel.
They didn't, though. They called it Now You See Me Too.
Oh, really? Ah, dang.
They fucked up so hard.
I really thought they did. In my memory, that's always what it has been.
Well, let me tell you something. It's not.
Well, anyway, I wouldn't call any of those films a claim to fame, but good for that guy, this Butler guy.
That definitely got Kurt Russell on the map.
Yeah, him working with a monkey. Everybody's like, wow, what a great action guy this would be.
I mean, that's what John Carpenter saw.
Let's put him in The Shape of Water world. This will be great.
No, John Carpenter was like, let's put him in The Thing and then Big Trouble in Little China.
It wasn't that big of trouble, you know. It's a reasonable amount of trouble.
Just a fair amount.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you want to start this?
Well, I guess I will drink my water and then we will do the movie as normal.
Okay.
He's a Bowfinger.
I gotta put together my list anyways.